One thing stops the yawning. It's Koko, it's Koko, meandering down the road. What TV's calling, top of the stalling. To the show, everybody likes Koko Digest, Koko Digest. Show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko Digest. I show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives up in the morning. One thing stops the yawning. It's Koko, meandering down the road. What TV's calling, top of the stalling. To the show, everybody likes Koko Digest, Koko Digest. Show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Up in the morning, one thing stops the yawning. It's Koko, meandering down the road. What TV's calling, top of the stalling. To the show, everybody likes Koko Digest, Koko Digest. Show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko Digest. I show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko Digest. Show you watch forever, but TV comes first and gives out the best. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's no other show like Koko Digest. Everybody likes Koko. Koko Digest. Show you watch forever. But TV comes first and gives out the best. Every morning there's
Congratulations to us. Happy 1 year anniversary to the Koko Digest Morning Show. If you didn't catch us yesterday, well, we are still in the anniversary celebration mode, and we would like to say happy birthday to all of us as well. Good morning to you all. You're welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. We are one. So I think we'll be saying that throughout this week. I mean, well, today's the last day for the Koko Digest Morning Show anyways. And you're welcome once again. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can get us there if you're not in the comfort of your home. And we're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV. Yesterday, we had an outdoor production in the Ministerial Enclave. So if you were around, I'm sure you heard of us and you got to catch some of what goes on behind the scenes and even on set. Now, Today's conversations are going to be very, very interesting. And before I even go into the conversations, let's take our motivational quotes for today. Then right after that, I'll give you the highlights of what we're going to do today. Let's prepare to be inspired. Today's quote especially goes for us here at Clock TV, and it says, "The reward of a thing well done is to have it done. The reward of a thing well done is to have it done." And this is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I think, yes, like I said, it goes to us especially, considering the fact that we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. We started the Koko Digest morning show a year ago yesterday, and we had our anniversary celebrations yesterday, and it meant 3 morning shows back to back this week. And yes, the reward of a thing well done is to have it done. We've been through it, we've done it, we've celebrated. Regardless of the stress and everything that has happened to us, we are still here going strong. Now let's go into the expansion of what Ralph Waldo Emerson is telling us today. Now his quote says, yes, the reward of a thing well done is to have it done. And it speaks to the deep and often overlooked joy of meaningful effort. Now, at its core, this quote reminds us that the true value of our actions does not always lie in the external applause or the accolades or the tangible outcomes, but in the intrinsic satisfaction of doing something wholeheartedly with excellence. And I'm sure that speaks to the crew of Clock TV. I'm sure you are feeling it. Yes, it goes to you. Now, Emerson is urging us to shift our focus from the outcome-driven motivations to purpose-driven actions. And when you invest your time, energy, and integrity into a task, whether or not anyone notices, you walk away changed. The growth, the discipline, the character, and self-respect you gain through doing something that rewards you, now you're also getting the reward in yourself. Now, it's also about knowing that you rose to the occasion, met your own standards, and contributed to something worthwhile. Now, in a world that often measures success by recognition or reward, this quote invites us to go into a quieter, more enduring perspective, that the act of doing something well refines us, so doing it very well. It also strengthens us and often provides a sense of peace and contentment that no applause could ever match. Now, it also affirms the idea that mastery, service, and personal fulfillment come from within. So it does not matter how many people clap for you, but when you've done whatever it is that you need to do, when you rise to the occasion of finishing a task, it's about how well you've done it, how much effort you've put into it, and the outcome, how satisfied you are with it. And goes to everyone here at Clock TV, and I'm sure that they are all listening to me right now and they are feeling it. And yes, kudos to us all, a big, big well done to us all. We have, through the blood, sweat, and tears, we've made it to 1 year, and once again, a happy anniversary to us. Now, the conversations for today are going to be, in the lifestyle segment, it's going to be about entertainment, especially in the music industry. And then on the main segment, we're going to be talking about opioid addiction with regards to students and education here in Ghana. And the sports and business segment will be bringing us news as always. So let's do stay tuned. Right after this is the online print review, so we'll be right back. And you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, we're about to have our online print review. Yes, we are still in the anniversary celebration mood. And we missed a few comments, and that is to remind you to do well to send your comments and questions to our WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens, and also to our YouTube or Facebook live stream as well. So yesterday, we had someone say, I'm watching you live from Aguna Suedru, International Nanake, bone specialist. Then our very own Obiba Wilson also sent a comment. He says, good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers. Yesterday's outdoor production. And he says, I knew today will surely come, so I saved your first flyers for memories. We've come far. He says, I posted them this morning on my status and the reactions were lovely. The Lord has been faithful. Great job done, guys. Thank you so much, Obiba Wilson, for your comment as well. Now, it's time for, yes, the news review here. My two co-hosts are here, businessmen, Peter Insia and Clement Yabankwe. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are we doing this morning? I know we are tired, but up and grateful, isn't it?
By grace. Divine selection.
Yeah. So, what's happening? Anniversary celebrations, how was it yesterday for you? How was the experience being outside, not enclosed in this cage here, away from the world? Everybody was seeing us, looking at everything we were doing. How was the experience?
Yeah, so Peter will go first.
So I see it as still a learning process, a journey, another, aspect of the whole thing we've been doing here. It was quite, different with, like you rightly said, passerby and then people watching us. It's quite different, unlike you being in the studio with just the group in there. And so yesterday was so, yesterday was historic, I must say. A lot transpired. So those who watched, and then I'm still, for me, even though I'm tired, I'm still in the anniversary mood. I'm super excited that everything transpired.
So you threw a party for us this weekend? You're still planning?
My boss will...
So Clement, how was it for you yesterday?
By grace, it was wonderful, Yaira, and it's so amazing that some people have been following over the years, over the months, because yesterday was 1 year, and Obiba, who sent a comment yesterday in the morning around 5 a.m., I saw his stats and I was like, hey, this guy is still having all these pictures in his gallery. It was so amazing. He has been very instrumental. Ali mentioned few viewers. He has been very instrumental. Personally to me, always after the show, he calls me, Clement, you should do this, you should do that. And that was so inspirational. There is one young man who currently works with Zenith Bank, Sunyani branch, Dennis Kojo Ajama. Yesterday he sent a message. He has also been watching every now and then on Facebook, and he gave me personal observation, personal critique that we should keep on doing whatever we are doing. So I would say that viewers have been so much glued to Koko Digest, and thank them because without them we wouldn't gone so far. And also to our management yesterday, they did very well. Our team, the crew, especially the technical team yesterday, they need to sleep over. Today too, we are here again. Yaira, it's a wonderful moment, I might say, and God bless everybody for contributing.
Right.
And then I also want to add up to our drivers, especially Mr. Casper and now Chapter, for the sacrifice and all that. They've also played an integral role in this whole thing, and so thank you to them too.
Right. So those of you who tuned in yesterday, you saw us out there, and it was a new experience, bringing the studio to an open place. I don't want to say to the streets because we weren't particularly on the streets, but yes, people saw us out there and they saw what goes into the job, and it's not easy. Again, happy anniversary to us here. So What's going on? What is trending?
Okay, so Peter, let me start. Let me start. There are a lot of things that are going on, and going to UPSA. I was some news trending, and it's about the teachers or these authorities kind of speaking with the student to dress in a formal way, not any dressing to classes and stuff. And students are talking about that kind of why teachers are doing that. So it's basically about their dressing to lectures and stuff. They say they should look professional, they should look formal because of the name of the university. It's a professional studies, of course. So I don't know. I think students and teachers need to sit down and talk so that they can address this issue once and for all. When you go to not only UPSA do experience this, other universities do. I remember where I schooled. I think because of the course I did, yes, it's compulsory to be formal to class every blessed day. If you're not formal to class, you'll be sacked. And our lectures, they will sack you.
Yeah.
They will sack you. So I think students and the teachers should sit down and have a good conversation so that this issue is resolved once and for all.
Right.
And then to add up to what you said, that has been the trend. It is not a new thing. And so once you get admitted to the University of Professional Studies, you know when it comes to the dress code, there's no two ways about that. You will be in suit.
Yeah.
You have to dress appropriately. Once you refuse to do that, you are not entering the lecture house. Even when it comes to exams, it becomes so intense during exams time. You can't dress anyhow to lectures. And so this is not a new thing. And so students, I've heard a lot of people complain about it, but then it has been there. It has been there. All of us went through it. You can't dress anyhow to lectures.
Right.
Fridays, you wear suits. There are some classes that you wear suits. The lecturer will tell you, this is how I want
to.
you.
If you're, let's say, non-resident, you wear suits from home, pick your church or
yes,
come
you
to...
wear it.
Wow.
You wear it. And that has been the trend. And so that is UPSA for you.
It's not new. I think wearing suits from the house to school is not new. It's like wearing suits from the house to work. People wear suits from the house to work who don't have personal cars. They pick church or they come to work. So we shouldn't paint it as bad thing.
Yeah.
I think teachers have the reason why they are doing that.
Yes, I think it's
they
to groom them. Yeah.
Exactly. So as I said, students and teachers need to sit down and come to a consensus. That is all what I'll say.
So I have a photo of the memorandum here, and there was a key part that was circled, and it says that, so I don't want to read the whole thing, but it says here that note that you will not be allowed into the lecture halls with unkempt hair, shorts, bathroom slippers, tracksuits, anklets, nose rings, etc., to mention a few. We uphold our mantra, scholarship with professionalism. Now, so this thing, there needs to be a sharp balance drawn or a sharp line drawn because there's time for everything, right? So as much as you are mandated to dress in a certain way, I mean, when you're going to school, when you're going to work, you're not going to wear swimwear. You're not going to wear something for church. You're going to wear what is necessary for where you're going. But then also, the enforcement should not warrant abuse. Because I think I saw a few videos where somebody was being dragged and things like that. We understand that, yes, the person was not dressed in the appropriate dress code, but then dragging the person or maybe some sort of punishment, like corporal punishment or beating them up or, I think even somewhere, was it in Nigeria? Yes. Some students were going to write exams and the ladies, they had their braids on and they were long. They had some people, some of the task force had to cut their braids before allowing them to enter the lecture hall. And it begs the question, what influence does your hair have on your skill, your intellect? That, okay, your long braids, it is not maybe the dress code and everything, but before you go, when you cut the long braids, it's still braids, right? If it is, let's say, green braids that the lady had on, you've cut them, they're still green. She has, maybe it's now the length you require, but it's still green. Maybe it's not the color you require. Are you going to sack the person? Why not? It's an exam, right? So why not give them a warning and tell them, no, this is not allowed. Maybe, you know how we usually at work, you're given, I think, 1 or 2 warnings before a query, then if you still flout it, then the suspension and dismissal, those things go on. So there should be some space in that, because if we look at it, even if we look at the origins of these things, the West that brought formal education and formal clothing, what we term formal clothing, they are the same people who have people making strides in this world in various academic fields with all kinds of looks to them, if it's tattoos, if it's piercings, if it's all kinds of colored hair or hairstyles, and you realize that it does not have any bearing on their skills or on whatever field they're working in.
Yeah, I want to come in.
Sure.
So what they are doing, it's not to infringe on anybody's rights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that there should be a balance.
And the balance you are talking about, they didn't just started sacking them. That should what we should make viewers understand. Lecturers didn't just start sacking students from class. We know from primary school, the school I attended, for example, when your hair is bushy and they give you a warning that today you need to trim your hair, you don't do that. Teachers come to class and they use scissors to just cut it.
But
so I'm coming. Sometimes even fingernails, when it's very lengthy and you are being warned and you don't still comply, they try and do it themselves. Why? Because they realize that you are resisting rules and regulations.
Yes.
And if issues like this are not well regulated in the country, this will be the same people who come to government positions, who come to leadership positions, and might not be able to comply to certain rules and regulations.
Right.
And we will be the same people to complain. So what I basically want to say is that the SRC of UPSA sits down with the lecturers, let them come to the the table, discuss this issue, and know the way forward. But if we want to probably make it a point that it's not right for lecturers to sack students from class because of, let's say, dreadlocks or because of what they are wearing. On campus where I schooled, they warn you, they bring notice. But if students flout it, they have no other option than to sack you.
Yes.
And I don't think the lecturer will just wake up in the morning and come to the lecture hall and sack a student.
Yes,
it's
and
not
what
just
I'm
happening.
saying that is that the enforcement should not warrant some kind of abuse, because sometimes
it's not an abuse.
No,
Yaira,
so Clement, are you telling me
abuse.
that if you come, let's say you're not dressed in the right way for the Koko Digest morning show, and then okay, Frimpong is the macho man here. Frimpong comes dragging you out of here rather than telling you in a civil manner, gentlemen, you are not meeting the dress codes. Please make your way out.
So can I come in?
Do you see what I'm talking about?
The video, which part did you see? The only part you saw was the dragging aspect.
Yes.
You didn't know what goes on behind the scene.
But the point is,
so
these
the
are
point
students,
I'm trying to make is
people's
that
wards.
the point I'm trying to make is that before our floor manager will come to set and sack me that I'm not improperly dressed, maybe we have had some kind of discussion behind the scene. I didn't comply. Before someone will apply force to any other action, persuasion or all the kind of thing has failed. He will not just come and be like, I'm dragging you on set. It will not just happen.
So
Let
me give an instance. So, like when I was in school, there was this policy that without your student ID, you're not going to be permitted to write exams.
Exactly.
And it started as soon as school resumes, and they kept reminding us. I was a victim. I forgot mine. And then I had to go to the administration, pay, get another one before. And so when the invigilator was I was trying to be hard on him that I won't go. I have my everything to prove that I've paid. So if I don't have my student ID, doesn't mean that I shouldn't write. So I was being, so he had to. So in that instance, if he pushes me or do something, I wouldn't say it's an abuse because I'm trying to challenge him or her. And then prior to this one, once during orientation, they will tell you. When lecturers come to class, they will tell you you're dressing and all that. And so they've given them, warnings throughout. And then this one too, it is not the lecturers who are responsible for that. They have task force. And so once you go to lectures, they will come around to inspect. Before you even enter, they will check if you are not appropriately dressed. They will sack you. Yes. It is not that they just wake up out of the blues and
that is not even where the mode of implementing it is where my problem is a little.
So when you want to resist,
even in the resistance, that's where the problem is. Because I mean, we've seen even quite recently the protesters and things, and then apparently somebody hit somebody and things like that. These are all things that would cause some kind of conversations. That's why I'm saying that implementation shouldn't warrant abuse. We get it that sometimes the students too can decide they want to prove I'm above the law, we call it abova and things. But that is where my problem is, because I have no issue or no qualms with the fact that you're supposed to dress a certain way because you are coming to class. But the task force, you know how task forces are. Even in the market, sometimes you see them carrying, they have canes and things, and it's like it is one way or another justified because these people know the right thing to do and don't do them. But when you put yourself in there and it's like, okay, for some reason, just like you said, you just forgot your ID, and now let's say you were whipped or you were dragged by the collar out of it. It's like, oh, it's just a card. I understand that I forgot. I just forgot. It's not like I was even trying to be disobedient. Do you understand the angle I'm picking this from? Then now maybe this task force that he himself is already angry. Then he kicks you or pushes you in a way that you fall down and then hit your head. And now at the end of the day, you have a big scar on your forehead. You're in the hospital because of a card. That is where I want us to look at it from, that there are students, they misbehave and all, but we also need to be careful. Because now, if let's say your father is, President Mahama, and he says he's suing the school because now you have a cut on your nice forehead because of an ID, what will the school do? What can the task force also do about that? That's where the problem is, the enforcement.
So for me, I would say that what were the circumstances that led to that kind of act? Exactly. And so the thing is that this has, ascended to even our central administration. You have a problem enforcing our laws in this country. We have the laws on the paper, but when it comes to enforcement, we tend to be, flexible and all that with it. And so the law is the law. This is it. You are not supposed to wear this kind of attire to lectures. And this is the policy of the school. Before you enrolled, you read everything. This is the dress code. If you know you can't abide or stick to it, don't come. And even if you come by mistake, they will warn you 1, 2, 3. So if you bring it there, it is intentional. You want to test, you want to know what they can do. And so for me, I feel that like the instance I gave, I know very well that I'm at fault. There's no way they are going to allow me. So I tried. Oh, I forgot, but I have this. You say no. So they know I have to go.
Right.
You don't have to resist that because this I want. You are provoking your head.
So can we also say that it might be best to rather have maybe this task force always at the gates of the lecture hall screening the people, so that it's a daily thing rather than randomly crack down on them, because now they get away with it because they know it's not every day that they'll come and check.
I think we shouldn't even get task force in the first place. This is, I don't know, that's
students' behavior
other
though.
Point of view.
Right.
We are trying to build a country that we all love. We are trying to reset a country that we would all love to be in. Why would you let someone force you to do what you know you're supposed to do? I think we should move from a point where you know that you are doing A and they say A is not right. Don't expect a second person to come and tell you that the A you are doing is not right. There is no need for that. It's easy when you don't deal with issues like this very well, and we allow all these things to pass through to the very leadership, to the very governor. That is why we have all these situations that we used to face in the country. When it comes to banking sector, they have a way of dressing. You can't wear anything to the banking hall. When you go to the lawyers, they have a way of dressing. You can't wear anything to the courtroom. The same applies to other sectors that we have in this country. So I believe that this even shouldn't be an issue in the first place. UPSA, they know the kind of university and the student they want to produce out there. So according to them, this is the kind of students we want to produce. This is the kind of people we want to bring out. So if you think you align with our vision, come. If you don't align with our vision, go to an institution that aligns with your vision. So I think that should be the basic point of. But I have another trend.
So we have comments here. So Miriam says these students knew the rules of the school system, so why are they going contrary to that? It's a good move, and I think it should be done across all universities in Ghana. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. Then I think this is Obiba Wilson. Yes, he also says it's a Bible verse. Okay, Colossians chapter 3 verse 23 to 25, it says, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing, and then verse 24 says, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ. Happy anniversary, Koko Digest. And verse 25 says, for he who does wrong will will be repaid for what he has done, and there is no partiality. Thank you for your comments. Okay, so Nanake also says, good one. Thank you so much. Now let's go to the next story. So students,
Yes.
please stop the indiscipline. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. Thank you.
So this is a press release from Electoral Commission. It was out yesterday. I think somewhere last 2 weeks, EC was in Parliament to brief the parliamentarians about the issue regarding Ablikmanot elections, especially either they are going to have a rerun or not. And I think in one of the conversations, a question for the majority chief whip, Honorable Dafiama to the EC, that is the deputy EC, Honorable Mr. Bosman, and he was asking that would rerun be an option for Ablikmanot, and he made it clear to him that currently as they stand, rerun is not an option. Even if it would be an option, that is the last option. But Yara, today, Electoral Commission released a statement yesterday that rerun for Ablikmanot is now the option. And it is set to happen on the 11th of July. And the rerun is not for the entire constituency. It's for 16 polling stations. We had an issue with close to 39. So getting the figures right, they had issue with 37 polling stations where there was a lot of banter. But out of the 37, they've been able to agree on 16 results so far. But the other 19, they are saying that no, there's no pink sheets to prove, and we wouldn't rely on other parties' scan sheets. So let's go for a rerun. So the people of Ablikmanot will be having a rerun election on the 11th of July. That is next week, Friday, so that they would have their MP elect, whether it's going to be a Rabina Obin of the NDC or a Free of the NPP.
Right. So we have a comment here. This one says, good morning. I am Eben from Kobinya. Finally, the 24-hour economy has been launched. Ejima Beba, private sector should take advantage of the 24-hour thing to get more incentives from the government. Hashtag Abampapa, hashtag Ejima Beba Bibri. Regards to Honorable MC Agbo of Ga East, CEO Mr. Osman and his deputy Mr. Akwesi Mensah of PSC Tema Shipyard. Thank you for your comments. So now let's go quickly to your digitalized newspapers, and then we can go to the online stories. So what do you have for us?
So I have the daily guide, and on the front page it said Indian PM arrives for strategic partnership meetings. Daily guide at the front page. When you come to the other side, you have Ablikmanot EC to rerun polls in 19 stations or 90 police stations, as I read earlier. Gold Board, National Security arrests 10 Chinese for illegal gold trading. We also have an issue about dismissed Tokonos judicial review, that is Attorney General. And the big story says that 24-hour economy will cost $4 billion United States dollars. That is President John Dramani Mahama.
I think I have virtually the same thing here, but I would like to touch on the Gold Board issue. So after the arrest, what is next?
Prosecution.
Prosecution, and it should be done like with immediate effect. You see, like I've been saying, our problem, we have all the laws, but the problem is the enforcement. So I remember that he gave the CEO for the Gold Board, Precious Mineral, he gave, a deadline. The one they came, they revoked all the licenses that were given under the previous administration, and then gave a deadline that they should come and renew their licenses. Once the deadline elapsed, you don't have the right to engage in anything gold and everything relating to gold. But then here is the case. So I want them to use this as a deterrent to let people know that they don't just talk. Once they talk, once they say they will do something, they execute it. And so I'm interested in, so Section 663 at 1140 of the Ghana Gold Act 2025 stipulates the offenses that, so the penalties for offenses, and that this is an offense, is that a person who contravenes the provisions of Section 63 commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to 1. Fine not less than 200,000 penalty units and not more than 500,000 penalty units. And then the second one is imprisonment, not less than 5 years and not more than 10 years. Or you can get both the fine and the imprisonment. And so we are looking forward for the Minerals Commission, the Gold Board, and they did this in collaboration with the National Security. So they should take the necessary step to get these people to face their penalties, to serve as a deterrent to others who are relaxing somewhere, thinking that, oh, this is just a mere law, nothing will happen, let's just do. So we are waiting for them to take actions to serve as a deterrent to them.
This even is linked to the second story I have here, but the first story I have here is about the 24-hour economy and businessmen. If you can brief us a bit about what it entails and how some of us can benefit as much as we can from it.
So yeah, right. I think let me start something about 24-hour economy. You see, the communication prior to elections was that there's going to be a 3-day shift.
Okay.
8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. So that has been the ideology created for 24-hour economy. So whenever we hear 24-hour economy, what comes to mind is, hey, it's 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. But here, when you take a look at the policy or the program itself, it is very different. It is a packed thing altogether. We have it as a program, and we have it, I think, as a policy. So it's two different things altogether. And this time around, I think on the story around the front page, President said he need close to 4 billion, or it's going to cost them 4 billion to run this kind of policy or this kind of program. And in running this kind of program, the money is not going to come from the government, because I was listening to the government advisor on the 24-hour economy, and he says that this money is going to come from private investors, private individuals. They would come in with this money. It's not about they bringing the money to give to government or for government to use it, but they are coming to invest such an amount of money into the economy to help the economy grow. And our objective to talk about 24-hour as a program, they were looking at 6 key objectives that this actually program is going to work on. One is to significantly increase Ghana's self-reliance and release Ghana's vulnerability to extended shocks. And I think looking at this, it's very good, because extended shocks, for example, what we have with Iran and Israel war, this extended shock is affecting our crude oil. But here's the case that we're able to extract crude oil from our country. When you go to the Western region, that is where we have it being done. But what are we doing about it? Are we just exporting it? And even after exporting, what percentage do Ghana get? I think it's close to just 10%, which has nothing to do with growing the economy. So if something like this is coming up, you're supposed to do the refining of these oil products so we can either use it and the excess will be exported. So that is one of their objectives. The second objective is to facilitate the comprehensive integration of value chain to produce more of our needs. So when we talk about value chain, I think we all understand this value chain, how things are being moved from one point to the other to another point. In our value chain in this country, it's some way. Before the thing will get to the final consumer, it's a lot of things that's happened. So that is one of the objectives. Let me just mention that the second one is to optimize the utilization of production resources, including human labor, power, natural resources, and capital to achieve high productivity. We know our human resources we have, sometimes instead of doing the right thing, something is being done elsewhere.
Something for the boys first.
Exactly. So these are the issues they're also going to look at. The fourth one says that increase the value and type of productivity, that is increasing meaningful employment. The word they are using is meaningful employment. The next one says that develop stable production surplus based on marketing that scientifically assess the penetrate concrete local, regional, and international market. And the last one I would like to talk about is to equip Ghana productivity sector with better attitude to production and production relations and social, cultural solidarity. So these are the 6 key things they are going to look at, or the objective behind this 24-hour economy as a program. But yesterday, as we said, we would digest this 24-hour economy,
So
for
we should
people
stay
to
tuned.
for people to understand it very well, because we need to look at it being a program, it being a policy. What really goes into it? Who qualifies? Which sector is starting first? Now they said only start a pilot section in Greater Accra. So which sector are they going to start with first, or which are they not going to start with? So we have all this kind of conversations for viewers to understand it very well. But these are the little few things we would like to touch on.
I think one of the key places it should start with should be the industries, the production lines, especially with that, because sometimes you hear there's a shortage of this product.
Exactly.
There's because somewhere like this may sound maybe like I don't really know what I'm talking about, but something like the civil service, if we are having these shifts, it means that we're going to have 3 times the pay. But in something like the production industries here, where after 8 hours, the production and these things go out. Now they're going to have 3 times the produce they make in a day. Now these things can generate the income for the workers to be paid, as opposed to some of the other industries or some of the other sectors that these things may not work very well. So that should also be looked at, so that we don't apply it to just about everything. Even in the transport industry, there are times, just like the way we leave home at very odd hours to come here, sometimes we see Chocho on the way. So they are even already operating in the 24-hour economy. But imagine we have more of that happening. Yeah. People can go to where they need to go. And then safety would not be that much of a problem, because sometimes you have to stand somewhere from over an hour before you get a car, because there are no cars there, just because it's not, we don't have that many cars around at that time. So they should look at the very important places. It shouldn't just run through everything. Banks, something like banks, it might be dicey, because there are some countries that don't even have so much as ATM stands, because apparently people try to dismantle and see whether there's money in it to take out. So banks could be a problem, because now if a bank is operating at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., they stand the risk of being attacked by thieves and then, being robbed. So if we also look at it very well, how to operate it, but then also there are times where you could be stranded around those times where you need to go and make some withdrawals or go and do a bank transaction. So that one too, how best can something like that be done? Is it more ATMs or actually keeping the banks open at such hours?
Okay, right. So like Clement rightly said, the 24-hour economy during the campaign promises and all that has taken a different shift altogether. And then right now it's kind of packed, like he rightly mentioned of the objectives and all that. It's packed, and so I think they have all these, in place. And then I would want to touch on the 8 pillars they made mention of. I find it very interesting. So the initiative includes 8 supporting sub-programs, such as we have the Grow 24, which is about the agricultural component, everything relating to agriculture. And then they've selected some few cereals and all that. Like you rightly said, you have to sit down and dissect it, get into it. And then we have Connect 24, which talks about the supply chain he made mention of. We have Go Ghana, we have Show Ghana, which of course I have interest in that. Show Ghana is kind of tourism trying to sell our culture and all that. We have digital technology, Aspire 24, we have Build 24 and all that. And so it's very interesting. So let's wait and see how it unravels.
Okay. So I'm sure the business segment, one of these days, you come and give us extensive info on that. So the next story is, state of emergency alone won't stop Galamsey without ground action. And this is from the Lands Ministry. So Media Relations Officer at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Pakusi Shandov, states that any calls for a state of emergency to address illegal mining in Galamsey should be backed by specific actionable policies to ensure effectiveness. According to him, while such calls remain valid and appropriate, merely declaring a state of emergency without the necessary enforcement mechanisms and reforms would render the effort symbolic and ineffective. But this statement, on one hand, I think that it would rather hurt the ministry coming out with a statement like this, because it's like Miriam telling Clement, come and see my parents and let's marry. Then Clement is saying, if I come and see them, I cannot marry you because I don't have money. So if she's saying something like, come and see my parents, it means start getting your affairs in order to come and marry her, right? So if we are saying they should declare a state of emergency, this is the government, these are our leaders. We are telling you, declare a state of emergency. You know that you need actionable policies to back the state of emergency. So put them in place and then declare the state of emergency, because you know that this Galamsey issue is becoming more serious and serious by the day. So this kind of statement coming from the lands ministry, I don't know, I think it will hurt them rather than do more good.
Okay, so Yara, I think, as you are saying, state of emergency declaration started, the call started somewhere last year.
Yeah.
That government should declare, but it yielded no results. And this year too, when the new government took over to, such calls are coming. I listened to the Minister for Environment, and he assured the public that it's not like they are not going to take such a call, but government has put in place a committee who are working behind the scene to feed the president with all the necessary information regarding declaration of state of emergency. And with that, that doesn't mean that probably they are silent or not taking action, but they are really doing something behind the scene. So when the D-Day comes and the need may be that they should declare state of emergency, they will do exactly that, because they are relying on intelligence, they are gathering on grounds and all these kind of things. On the other aspect, we know there are lots of measures that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources have put in place in these few months in the fight against Galamsey. They are doing their best, but it's not enough. That is what Ghanaians are saying. They are doing their best, they are trying, but it's not enough. So Ghanaians are expecting more, because now if you tell us that you've been able to save close to 7 or 9 forest reserves, and yes, still our water bodies are still muddy. Our water bodies, we can't use for anything. No person would believe what you are saying, because the water that we easily see to tell that Galamsey is still operational. You are saying that, oh, you are putting measures in place, but water bodies are still contaminated. We can't use it for anything. So these are the concern of an ordinary Ghanaian, that if you say you are fighting Galamsey, then let's see some change in the River Pride. Let's see some change in the other rivers that we see. So I think the ministry needs to step up their game. They are doing well, but they need to put in out more measures. And there we might say that whoever is this is the whole problem. You know the rules, you know the regulation, that don't mine in water bodies. Why would you mine? Why even do you expect national security in the first place to come and chase you out? Once you know what you are doing, it's wrong. Why would you go to a forest reserve? Why would you go to a forest reserve and go do whatever you are supposed to? You know what you are doing is wrong. This is the basis. For example, what UPSA is doing. They know that don't dress this way. You know it. Why would you dress in the first place? It's the same thing applying to our natural resources. The same thing. So yeah, if we don't have this issue, we don't handle it from the very basis, and we allow it to grow. And in the near future,
I honestly
it's a big issue.
If our leaders could just, like, for lack of a better, and just, you know, it is some of the investors are big people, apparently or allegedly. If it is true, root them out, name and shame them, cut off the chain, the supply chain they are getting, the investment, all of that, and let us solve this issue. Because I think I even saw a news bit that said that very alarming traces of lead have been found in some of the foodstuffs that were on the market. And I remember back when the Stop Galamsey protests were ongoing, some people were saying, oh, it's happening in the rural areas, it doesn't affect us. But now we are here. You could buy something on the market. We don't have microscopes and whatnot at home to test titration and pipetting and things to know that, okay, what I'm eating is fully organic, it doesn't have any metal in it. Now we're going to start suffering. So if you come and tell us that calling state of emergency without policies is not necessary, so formulate some policies for us. Let us see what's going on. Let us see the effort.
So like I've been saying, my issue has always been the implementation. So everything about us is theory. You go to school, they'll teach you theory. No practicals, everything. Now that our laws to their theories, now we have to read them. We have the laws on paper. What is left is the enforcement. Is it that we lack enforcement agencies, or they don't have what it takes to do that? And then, like the example he cited with the UPSC, is it that we have to reset our minds? Like we have to reset our minds as Ghanaians. You know what you're doing is no good, so you want to do. This is where the law enforcement comes in. Don't do A. You say you do A. Now there are laws that prohibit or prevent you from doing A. So if I do A and then the law comes and they pardon me, oh, next time I won't do again. I'll go and do. Kojo also go and do. Then I will do. So the law, if you do A and you're supposed to be punished, you have to be punished when you do the A. And so we should stop implementing the policies and it will be on paper, and then when you go to the real world, like practical, we are not enforcing it. It is very wrong. It is very, very, very wrong, and it is high time we do away with that. And then also this fight about Galamsey thing, I've said it and I'll say it again. See, they should involve everyone. So let's say if you go to the Western region, places that the Galamsey has become very intense, they should involve everyone there, everyone in the community, start from the chiefs, from the youth leaders and everyone. They should task them. This is it. Don't mine here. Don't allow any form of illegal something here. If you allow, we hold you responsible. I think it's high time the enforcement agency, they should go like straight. There shouldn't be anything like, see, you're a chief in a community. This is your land. You're entitled to this.
You know,
ensure that nobody comes in there. You see, even those with the licenses, see. This is your concession. You encroach.
Reminds me of colonialism, the slavery times. We learned in school that at a point the chiefs themselves were allowing it. Because they were making money out of it. So sometimes there are people who are not necessarily huge players, but they are involved because they are benefiting 1 or 2 CDs here and there in it. So it has to start from the top, the investors at the top who have the money for these things. Who is funding them?
Who is funding them? Yaira, that's the question. I wanted to say something. I was on a page last weekend. Someone released an information that the community they live, actually it's in the Western region, one of the communities in the Western region. The only source of livelihood, that is the water they have, has been contaminated due to the activities of illegal mining. And the community leaders they fought this issue and they've done whatever they could do. But yes, the people are still doing it. You see, the whole issue, assuming if the community is here, the other community there is having the illegal mining, and the water contaminated there would still run close to that very end. So I was like, so why is it that community, the chiefs there, allow it to happen? Or the whoever who is doing that thing? Like
They've
Yara, for me,
bought them 1 or 2 gold chains
on that page, I wrote on the page that it's due to selfishness and greediness. That's what it's greediness. It's greediness, because why will you do something to affect the whole community just because you want
something that will not even last?
Well, I think we should. It's love for the country and love for the people is killing us. So I think something should be done about that.
Right. We have one more, 2 more comments here, then we wrap up quickly. So HM Joe says, happy Cocolicious morning. Okay, I think it was happy Cocolicious anniversary and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And he says, Gihog Distillery has begun their 24-hour economy. Thank you so much for your comment. Yes, this brings us to the end of, or you want to say one?
Yeah.
The time is almost up, so
30,
briefly,
10 seconds to acknowledge my colleagues here in the house. It goes to Yasapoma, Blessing, Rejoice, Love, Felix, Hannah, Prosper,
the
Felix.
guys are saying I mentioned only girls.
Felix, Michael, and then, all the boys, and then to our boys, our boss, our junior finance minister, Tony Boateng. Yes. God bless you guys, and thank you for your commitment and all that. You've played a major role. God bless you.
Yes. The technical guys say we don't give them shout out. So technical guys, shout outs to you all. Thank you so much, Andy and Mike and Frimpong and Jewel and Joe, everybody. Next is the lifestyle segment with Miriam Abnadidi and her guests, and do stay tuned for that.
Good morning, welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now, on to our stories. Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Ampemiako has dismissed accusation by the minority in Parliament that the government is misrepresenting the purpose of a newly approved $360 million United States financing agreement with the World Bank's International Development Association, IDA.
Minority claims the government is concealing the true nature of the facility, suggesting it is misleading the public by implying it is not a loan. NACO clarified that the funding is general budget support under the second Resilient Recovery Development Policy financing and forms part of Ghana's 2025 national budget. He emphasized that it is not earmarked for a specific use but contributes to government revenue, with Cabinet deciding to allocate it toward clearing arrears, including payments to road contractors. The $360 million is the second tranche, following an earlier $300 million received in 2024 under the same World Bank program.
Away from that, now on Ghana Revenue Authority, the implementation of the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025, Act 1141, is set to begin on Wednesday, July 16, 2025. This follows a previous delay by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, to assess global market conditions and safeguard recent improvement in domestic fuel prices.
The decision was reached in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy after reviewing current market indicators. The timing is intended to support the government's goal for economic stability while addressing the financial needs of the energy sector. The amendment, outlined in Tax Information Number 2025-004, revises rates for the energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy on various petroleum products. These changes aim to close funding gaps and assist in repaying legacy debts in the energy sector. Stakeholders are urged to adjust their pricing structures accordingly before the effective date.
Away from that, the government is courteously optimistic about passing the upcoming IMF Executive Board review of Ghana's economic program under the Extended Credit Facility, set for early July. A successful review would unlock about $370 million in funding, bringing total disbursement under the program to $2.4 billion since May 2023.
According to the Presidential Advisor on the Economy, the review is seen as crucial, with key structural benchmarks reportedly met, increasing the likelihood of approval. The expected financial boost is aimed at supporting Ghana's economic recovery and efforts to restore debt sustainability. The IMF confirmed a staff-level agreement was reached with Ghanaian authorities in April, and approval by the board would signal continued support for the country's reform agenda. Analysts note that a positive outcome could enhance investor confidence, stabilize the cedi, and help ease inflation.
This is all we have for you on the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello, good morning, lovely viewers. Welcome to the Sports Update segment on your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Benedict Nketiah, and of course, over here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports. We are covering all the action, both local and international. Join me as we dive into the world of sports. Now to the headlines. New faces emerge in anticipation of the 2025-2026 Ghana Premier League. Referees gear up for the 2025-2026 season with rigorous training. Dortmund's Job Bellingham suspended for quarter-final clash against Jude Madrid. Leverkusen signed Kwanzaa from Liverpool for £35 million. Now to the main story. Techimani 11 Wonders, Swedru All Blacks United and Hohoe United have secured spots in the Ghana Premier League for the next season following their victories in the Access Bank Division 1 League. Techimani 11 Wonders is back in the top flight after a playoff win against Royal Tamale United. Swedru All Blacks United ends a long wait for Premier League action, and Hohoe United also joins the Elite League. They will compete alongside teams like Bibiani Gold Stars, Asante Kotoko, and Accra Hearts of Oak. The referee department has announced its schedule for the 2025-2026 season, starting with the FIFA MA Instructors course on July 10th. National exams for referees will be held in August. Courses for the Premier League, Division 1 League, and Women's Premier League are planned for September and October before the seasons begin. The department aims to provide thorough training to ensure high-quality officiating in top-tier competitions. Now to international sports news. Job Bellingham will miss the Club World Cup quarterfinal due to a suspension. He received a second yellow card in Borussia Dortmund's 2-1 victory over CF Monterrey, preventing a potential matchup against his brother Jude, who plays for Real Madrid. Bellingham's first yellow card came during the group stage against USAD HD. Since joining Borussia Dortmund in June, Bellingham has been a key player in the Club World Cup. A 22-year-old centre-back has signed a 5-year contract with a German Bundesliga club. He was part of the England team that won the European Under-21 Championship. This is a third transfer between the club this summer. Newcastle previously tried to sign him. As a homegrown player, the fee Liverpool received will be recorded as profit. Kwanzaa made 58 appearances for Liverpool, won the League Cup in 2024, and played 13 league games last season. And that is it for the Sports Update segment. As usual, my name is Benedict Nketiah. Next is the Lifestyle segment with Mimi.
And if you can make a room, don't mind them.
We'll usher you into the lifestyle segment of today's Koko Digest morning show. It is still the 1 year anniversary of our morning show, and this is the post, anniversary celebration happening here in the studios of Clock TV. We are streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube as well. I have with me Clement Yabankwe and also Benedict Nketia Kwating. So last year, when we had our launch of the morning show, we graced the occasion with some dance moves, right? It is so, it will be unacceptable of us not to also grace this year's anniversary with a dance move. That's why I brought my selected dancers. Benedict Nketia Kwating and then Clement Yabankwe. What do you guys have to say? Dancers of our time.
Of course. I mean, by this time, dance god Lord is shaking his you can see me, and then you can feel the aura coming up and all that.
Apostle.
Clement is here. Incredible Ziggy is shaking because
I just need to take off the
yes.
Yes. So we are going to dance.
You guys are not ready for us. You guys are... DJ, give us something. Give us something. Like, they're not ready.
Of course.
They're not ready for us. Okay, so whilst waiting for them, let me take your experiences so far. We didn't hear from you, Clement, yesterday.
Yeah.
How has your experience been so far on the Koko Digest morning show?
Mimi, it has been amazing by the grace of God. We started this journey and some of us, we didn't know we could go this far.
Yeah.
But through guidance, through corrections, motivations, from the team and also from the management, we've been able to travel a very long journey. Because 1 year from now, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not, if we had given birth by now, at least. So you get the point. You get the point. So it has not been easy. And one thing I've loved about this show is the fact that we educate viewers on the very thing they are supposed to know. You get it? And the lifestyle segment is giving us freestyles, teaching us how
as
to
usual.
cook. Exactly. One day I realized them doing the week and everything.
Yeah.
I went on trying to do it myself, but I'm far. Yes, I'm far. And what I love about the lifestyle has to do with the fashion aspect, the topic they treat, and the music. Even though I'm not really fan of music, but I do enjoy music. Yeah, and the dancer. I know one of our own, the team member, that is the sound engineer.
Okay.
He can dance very well. So whenever they are doing lifestyle music, you could see him behind the sound.
Yeah.
A lot of
He's currently standing behind the camera and I'm waiting for our tunes to go.
Exactly. So,
Andy, we see you. Benedict, let me hear from you before I come to Clement for his challenges. Because I know he had a lot of challenges on set.
Yeah.
So how has your experience been?
So far, so good. It's been wonderful. I mean, aside getting tired because it was stressful. I mean, the day was stressful. Waking up that early, coming up and trying to put smiles on people's faces, getting people informed and all that. We were tired, but then all the same, it was very good. We had a great time. Having an outdoor production comes with its hindrances, and then we faced a lot. But then as a team, you know, we came together as a team. We encountered issues, but we tackled it together as a team. We celebrated the joyous moments of it, the painful parts of it. We celebrated it, and then all the same, we had a good time.
Honestly, yesterday I went home, took my time, you know, visited our Facebook page, and then I watched the entire production. And trust me, we did excellent.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't see any flaw. I don't know what others saw, but I didn't see any flaw at all. We did so well, and big ups to our technical team for that, and also our general manager and the executive secretary of Clockside.
Exactly.
Clement, I know you faced a lot of challenges.
Mimi said, "Send me out of can."
Do you remember there was this time Mr. Safas called us to his office, and then
it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't. So tell us about it. Your challenges.
Mimi, I will start from simulation because we are new to this whole thing. But during simulation, I remember they will tell you that you are too rigid. You need to go do more research. You need to, after even giving out your submission, no, this is no good. You need to do this, and you have to sit by the laptop, by the machines, reading a lot. And this work entails reading. Always need to be by the TV, on your phone, find out what is happening, try to get the facts, because you don't want to miscommunicate or misinform anybody. So you have to find the facts, gather all these things together and put it out there. But it has been the support of the producers and the team always giving us whatever we need. But Mimi, personally myself too, I remember the day when they said we should come on set, I was like, hey, can I do this thing? Can I do this thing? But you see, sometimes life is all about taking a step. If you don't take a step, you wouldn't know where you would be the next day. So by the grace, I took that step, and here I am today. One thing I also would like to talk about is a big challenge is the fact that when we started this show, as Benedict said, you need to wake up early, sometimes 2 a.m. And after waking up at 2 a.m., the bus will come around 2:30, 3 a.m., pick you. Before you get to office, you have to put things together and you go on set. I remember on the 3rd week, on my way to pick the bus, I was being attacked.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, I was being attacked by two young guys. And when they saw me, I was with my suit. Then I was with my suitcase, my phone, everything. They were like, I should give everything to them. I was like, hey, well, let me give it to them. Who am I to say no? So maybe I gave it to them. My money fell. They pick it themselves. And after everything, they were like, you look so innocent. So take your things and go. And they were just standing behind. And they were like, we are looking that nobody attack you, so go. Meaning how I ran that day. You were in the bus. Yes. How I really ran. I came to the bus. Since I realized our driver did very well. Since then, he used to come closer than where he used to be. So Uncle Casper has done very well. Yes, and
you look like a highly spiritual person. So we'll come to you for spiritual advice as colleagues.
Pastor Bayo's
assistant.
Pastor Bayo Jr.
So we'll come to you for that. But Benedict, let me take your challenges and then we'll give our viewers some moves. You know.
Challenges. There are actually a lot, but I mean, you see, the focus is to overcome these things. You know, one of my biggest challenges is, I mean, I do a 9-to-5 job aside this, and then combining these two professions. We want multiple sources of income is very good. So we want to get ourselves into other fields, diversify the things we do and all that. But it is stressful. It is. I mean, sometimes you want to do some mathematics, and then yesterday like this, after the show, I went back to the office, I was trying to put some things together, and then math, it wasn't mathing. Like, I realized that if I dare continue with this, I will mess up with people's accounts. I'll create issues for myself. So let me just put a stop to it. And then, I mean, aside that, waking up, I think that is the song we are all singing, waking up that early. And there is no way we can change that. I mean, maybe something can be done, but until then, we have to still wake up. I wake up at 1:30. So imagine closing 5, getting to the house by 7, going to work out, you come by 9, 10, you sleep almost 11, and you're waking up at 1. What are you even sleeping?
It's all about the sacrifice and commitment.
I mean, one thing we don't want to do is behind the scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that goes on. By the end of the day, we need to put smiles
on the faces. Yeah, because
that very day I was attacked, I came to show. Nobody knew. The smile was there.
Even today, as I'm standing here, I'm highly disappointed, but nobody knows.
Exactly.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's happening in my system.
We are doing our best.
Yes.
Kudos to all of us because
Yes.
this is not an easy thing. I mean, when we see other presenters on TVs and then we see the work they put into it, sometimes when they make certain mistakes, we are quick to criticize. But when we got to fill in their shoes, when we got to do the same thing that they do, realize that sometimes it's just not them. Sometimes it's the mind, and you can't play with the mind. You can't deceive the mind. You can't battle with the mind because this is an organ that works on its own. So I think we are doing our best.
Let me say last before we go. This dawn, you called me more than 5 times.
20 times.
20 times. Yeah. Could you imagine? That thing was gone. You get the point. So, it's not been easy, but it
yeah. So let me take a few comments and then we'll do some adding. So, congratulations on your 1 year of waking us up. It feels like just yesterday we were all still in our pajamas. Can we get time to machine for the next year? I'm ready for your future, Koko Digest. Thank you so much. Happy anniversary. Your show has been the perfect blend of humor and caffeine. Hey!
These are the right
Thank
words.
you so much. Cheers to 1 year of early mornings. You've made getting out of bed feel like a party. Hey, these ones here. And then the last one says, happy anniversary, Koko Digest. Mimi and your team, you are doing so well. Keep the good work up. Thank you so much. DJ, if our song is ready, let's boogie. Let's boogie.
My body is shaking.
Let's tend the studio. He's waiting. He's the dance god of our time. He wants keeps motivating me to come to work. Like, I have amazing colleagues. I have people I can vibe with, people I can talk to, the likes of Yaira, Benedict, Clemens, Nanaya Wasari, and, you know, our other presenters, Beatrice, Edna. You know, it's an amazing family in here at Clock TV, and I'm super, super excited to be working with you guys. Now, let me ask you, Clement, did you ever envisage, you know, interacting with guests? You know, you started with the business segments as an update, and then moving forward, you were speaking to, you know, key stakeholders of, you know, issues, institutions, and the rest. Did you ever see yourself doing that?
No, I didn't. It has been the work of the team and also the producers. So one day I was there and they were like, why don't we try having a discussion with financial analysts? I was like, okay, it's a good point. Let's give it a try. And they were like, sure. So that is how it all started. And Mimi, it has been so amazing talking to them. You get to understand the thing for yourself. You get to know it's not only about educating the public, but you to educate yourself. And it has been so amazing. That's what I would like to say. People watch me, they're like, hey, you Clement, you like talking about
Right. Benedict, let me come to you.
Yes.
Yours is just an update, but sometimes you have interactions with your colleagues as well. How does that go for you? Like, how is
It
the
is,
experience
it's fun. I mean, one thing I've forgotten, the unveiling of your name, Mimi Gatuso. Let's not forget
Please,
that.
we are in a new year. Let's drop it here.
It was through this
Let's
session
drop
that we're
it here. I
able
think
to
Andy can
bend.
help us with a name, right?
Yeah.
A new name, so that I can, use that name throughout
So
this
you don't
year.
want a Gatuso anymore?
I'm not
Okay.
wicked.
Fair.
Eh?
I mean, you can be
There are
the new
amazing-
face of
There are
Gatuso.
amazing sports personalities, I can use their names,
Okay.
but Gattuso,
Okay. We'll think of something else for you, but then anyway. Yeah, so it's been great, it's been wonderful, the interactions sometimes. I feel like these things help us to bond very well, connect very well. Because sometimes you be on set, you are doing your job, you are providing information that you want to provide, but then knowing that you have a colleague with you, around you, you get to interact with the person, it helps you relax. Because it gets very nervous sometimes. Sometimes it's tensious, but then you can talk to your colleague and then you get to smile, you get to relax and all that. It helps us a lot, and so I'm quite grateful. I haven't had a chance to interview someone, but then it still works in a way. I've learned a lot.
I get that.
And all
I get that.
Yeah.
Clement, do you have a word of appreciation for anyone, any favorite person, any special person? Lastly, then I'll come to Benedict and then we'll do some.
So lastly, Mimi, I want to appreciate our general manager. He has been very inspirational, and also to Pastor Bayo, the host for Wings of the Morning. He has been very inspirational, very supportive in everything that I do. And to a very good friend of mine, Obiba Wilson, always saying Mimi's. Yes, so he has been so inspirational. Always he calls me, Clement, you are doing this, let's do this way, this wrong, this bad, this, that. And Dennis, all these people are very inspirational. I want to say a very big thank you to them. And the CEO of Jedad Sports. Yes.
Our very own.
Exactly.
Benedict, let me hear from you.
Yeah, honestly, if I want to mention names, I might forget some people because when I started this, I have very amazing friends. I spoke to them about what's the initiative, and then they were like, Benedict, whenever it's time, just let us know. We'll watch, and then we'll give our comments. And my friends are very constructive when it comes to giving comments or criticizing you. They'll criticize you in a good way. It helps. This is how we built ourselves. The likes of Kelly Kochel, Augustine. I was about to say Pineapple. That's how we call him. We've called him ever since. Pineapple. My dad, my grandma. My grandma has been my biggest support.
Okay.
This woman, I wake up and she wants like, Nana, what is going on and all that.
Briefly.
Yeah. But I want to thank everyone, the team here, James, Andy, Miaira, Mimi, yourself, my colleagues and everyone. And of course, I want to thank the executive secretary of ClockSAG and then our general manager. It was these two men who had just an interaction with me, and they said, "Oh, just gentleman, there is something in you. Let's give you a chance." And then here I am today.
Right.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would also like to say a very big thank you to the executive secretary of ClockSAG for giving all of us this opportunity to even, appear on the screens of Clock TV. It is not easy. And then also to our general manager for that opportunity. He saw something in us that we didn't even see.
Yeah.
And today we are all here. We are the faces of Clock TV. We are so happy about it. And then to our technical team, Cables Man, the man himself, the only one who can connect and disconnect. We say thank you. We also say a very big thank you to Jewel. We say thank you to our programs coordinator, Joseph, Andy, James,
Melissa.
She's telling me it's time.
Abena is feeding us every morning.
Abena is always feeding us, our colleagues,
guys.
all our producers. We say a very, very big thank you to them, and of course our guests, amazing guests. There are some guests that you can just call them overnight and then
they will come.
They'll come. We say a very, very big thank you to all of you, and then our co-hosts who have always been improvising for our guests. We say a very big thank you, like today. Right, so let's do a few birthdays and then we'll get into our main discussion.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Right, so let's get our first birthday celebrant. who is our first? Oh, Auntie Alf, her name again? Okay, her name is not there. So happy birthday to the most amazing mother in the world. Your love, strength, and wisdom have shaped me into who I am today. Today, I celebrate you not just as a mom, but as a woman of grace, beauty, and endless love. This is from your son, Alfred. Auntie Becky, from all of us at Clock TV, we say happy, happy birthday. She's always watching us at the reception. She's always watching us and giving us feedbacks. We say thank you so much, Auntie Becky. We love you so, so much. And on to our next. We also have this, a happy birthday, D-Money. May you never lack money as your name goes. Cheers to a new full of blessings. This is from One Dawn, when we are saying happy, happy birthday, D-Money. Right. So we have a few birthdays also in-house. Benedict will go, and then I think Clement, you have to wish someone by force. So Benedict.
Yeah, so happy birthday to my friend Mary Slimsy. You've been very instrumental in our growth this life, and I want to wish you a happy birthday. And then of course to Ade Aponsa Benes, happy birthday, happy belated birthday to you too. May God richly bless you guys, and then may you guys have a fruitful year. Thank you.
Okay.
Mimi, happy glorious birthday to my lovely daughter, Precious. It's this July actually, so God bless her so much for what I see who she's becoming. And glorious birthday in advance to my producer, Eunice, and also to Melissa, to Jessica, to Benedict, and equally to myself, to Ivy, and to a friend, Annette. Yes, so happy glorious birthday in advance to all of them.
And also Joseph. Oh, okay. Joseph's birthday is okay. Yeah. So thank you so much. And this has been me, Miriam Abena Adede. I did this with Clement Yabankwe and also Benedict Nketia Kwating. We are out.
arts in ministry, in pastoral care and counseling option. She's currently a pastor with the King's General International Church. Now, Madam Hannah's passion is training and nurturing the future generations, and she has a teaching call backed by divine grace from the Lord. She is a servant of God, married to Pastor Eric Abraham Zapia, the lead pastor of the Holy Worldwide Revival Missions. They are blessed with 2 wonderful daughters and have adopted and nurtured many others. She has authored and published 7 books with 2 titles that have been translated in French and 2 devotionals. Now, let me take us quickly through the books. So we have Get It Right, Wedding Bells, Young and Single. Then we have Making the Most of Your University Experience. Then we have Grandpa and Kofi's Adventures. That's for the younger audience, Adventures 1 and 2. Then we have Throwback Stages, Identity Theft. And we have Think Deep with Tele Apia. Think Deep with Tele Apia again. So it's a B series. Then we have Hurricane Love. Then we have Things I Wish I Knew Before I Went on Missions. And It Is Never Late. Then we have the French titles. We have Réflexion. Then Détrompez-vous, right? Yes, I did French in essence, I remember. Then Réflexion Profonde and Réflexion Profonde 2. And yes, so she has her books. She has a bit of everything for every kind of audience. Those seeking to get married, Miriam, come and get the Wedding Bells and the Get It Right, Young and Single. Those of us in the universities, there's the Making the Most of Your University Experience. There's Identity Theft. I think that has to do with what we are going to addictions. What we are going to be discussing today. So maybe she will give us a little bit on that too. So now moving forward, we have the next guest. He is a doctor, and he's Dr. Gregory Apigi Apam, and he is a clinical pharmacist, oncology pharmacist at the University of Ghana Medical Center, and he's a health advocate and a health content creator. So his handle on social media is Connect with Dr. Greg on all the social media platforms. The Connect starts with a K. Yes, Connect with Dr. Greg. Then the third guest, he will be joining us, via technology, and he is lawyer Mumin Mashood. And Mumin Mashood is an author, lecturer, and a versatile general legal practitioner with expertise in business and commercial transactions, intellectual property rights, human rights, land law, fintech, and maritime law. So I have the doctor and the counselor here with me, so let's get interactive with them quickly. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes. So we read a bit about your profile, but I think we want a little more details.
Oh, really?
Yes, especially on the book, The Identity Theft.
Oh, okay. So the book Identity Theft was targeted about educating on addictions.
Okay.
Especially among the young adults. Many of them get into addictions unconsciously, so it brings to bear the initiation process and then how the addiction comes and what they need to be aware of to be able to come out of the addiction processes.
Okay.
So I weave stories into the book, so it is not a theoretical book, but it looks like a storybook, an interesting reader of a young child who, in his case, it was just a sip. He was initiated into alcoholism by friends, peer pressure, and then before he knew it, he had jumped off the wagon. And it took years of remediation, restoration. So in trying to educate young people, you try to give them case studies to help them to be aware that the choices they are making is going to spiral them down the line. And then these are the preventive methodologies that they need to employ or need to know such that they can get back.
All right. Okay, so if we want the Identity Theft book, where can we?
You can get copies by sending me a message on my number.
Okay.
054
054
706
706
49
4982.
82.
So
Yes.
you can contact Madam Hannah Abrams up here on 054-706-4982.
Yes.
So,
and the interesting part of that particular book is the inclusivity has made Ghana Blind Union help translate it to Braille.
Oh,
so
that's
we actually
beautiful.
have Braille version of that book.
Wow, ish. Then our author is going places. Right. Okay, so Doc, you are a content creator on social media too. So if you can tell us briefly a little bit about what you do on social media, the kind of content you create.
Okay, so on social media, you see a lot of people talking about medications, and also mostly you see people who are not even in the hospice trying to speak about something they have little knowledge about. So me being a professional and me always wanting to reach out to people, I said, okay, then why don't I go into this and do it the right way? So if you need quality information on medications, on health, or anything related to health, you can find it at the right place.
Right.
So that's what we do, and it's been almost 2 years now.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's go quickly into the conversation. So Doc, what is opioid?
So when you talk about opioids, I know in Ghana here, when you hear opioids, it comes with certain name, tramadol,
Yes, when you read.
So when you read. So opioids are medications, so they are pain medications. But unlike the normal pain medications that we know, unlike the normal pain meds that we know about, opioids act on the receptors in the brain known as the opioid receptors. So that causes an effect on the body and also pushes you, the individual, into a state of either being tolerant or dependent on the medication. That's why people are able to even abuse the medications. But they are used purposely for their pain relieving effects, and it has euphoric and sedative effects attached to it.
Right. Okay, so our counselor, as a counselor, have you interacted with people struggling with opioid addiction?
Yes, a lot of the young ones. And I think we were gisting before we came on set that these young people will tell you truthfully that, Auntie Hannah, when we take these opioids, we get this euphoria and confidence that helps us to go and speak to the girls, which otherwise we would not have had that confidence. And then that feeling, that euphoria they get, that excitement. Because you see, many of these young ones are desperate for love, desperate for attention, desperate for a sense of belonging. And they just don't know how to handle their emotions because they lack the emotional intelligence. And so they see these substances as, oh, it worked for A, it may work for me. And then they go in innocently, forgetting that there are consequences to the use of these things.
So aside the need for confidence to talk to girls, are there other factors that contribute to people going into opioid addiction?
Oh yes, the euphoria, that sense of excitement, that sense of happiness, that joy. I think, Doc, you can add to it.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
that's what these young ones really go in for.
Right. Okay, so Doc, what are some of the reasons people tend to become addicted to opioids?
So we have basically two main routes. So we
Okay.
have the clinical route. So that could be someone that are going to an accident, the person has been given medications, maybe an opioid to calm the pain or to take care of the pain. The person taking the medication for over a period now feels that, yeah, I get relief when I take these medications. So the person tends to continue. And unknowingly to the individual, the person gets addicted to it. There are people like that. There are people with certain chronic conditions like sickle cell.
Okay.
So people who are suffering from sickle cell, most of them end up being addicted to opioids because of the crisis they have, that pain crisis. So they end up abusing these opiates. Most of them, they have zero knowledge that, look, if you go this route, you're going to end up here. Then, as Mom was talking about the euphoria, so the euphoria that comes with it, that calmness, So it comes with that euphoria. Some people also get calmness from because of the sedative effect that these opioids have. So it has those two routes that will push people into that. And mostly the young ones, peer pressure, you know, the stress of life, all these things, they will take it to quote unquote calm their nerves. Then with time, then you will get hooked to it.
All right. So how exactly do these opioids affect our body?
So opioids act on the central nervous system. So it affects your brain. And initial exposure to opioids will cause an increase or a surge in a chemical known as dopamine.
Okay.
And that's like the feel-good chemical. So when you take it, you feel good. But with time, the body is in such a way that the body produces its own dopamine. By the time, the levels begin to drop. Then your body will now be craving more for that medication. So we have what is known as the reward system.
Okay.
The body has its own reward system. You have the food reward system and other reward system. Now it switches to that interaction between the drug and the pleasure. So with that, your senses now get heightened on these medications. Not only for the highness, but also now you want to take it to stay normal.
Okay.
God has balanced everything in your body. Now, when these disruptions happen, then you begin to have that effect.
Okay.
Yeah, as an individual. Yeah.
So, considering the fact that it raises the feel-good hormones in your body, does that mean that it is only you said it's a pain reliever?
Yeah.
So how come it is giving us feel-good options too?
So it's a whole mechanism. So as I was talking about, it acts on your brain. So when you go into the whole pharmacology of pain medications, we have receptors that these medications will block.
Okay.
But the other effect is the effects on those chemicals. So before I started, I said we have the pain relieving and the euphoric.
Okay.
So as you are getting the pain relieving effect, the euphoric effect is also happening on those chemicals. So it
goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand,
okay. Okay. So this one, I think I would have to hear from both sides. Is there a specific group of people that stand at risk of becoming addicted to opioids?
Okay.
So I think from the health perspective, everyone is at risk, but mostly the youth or the working class.
Okay.
Because we like a lot of research, we want to involve ourselves in a lot of stuff because of the risky behaviors, accidents, and all these things will happen along these lines. So mostly the young and let's say the young adults are at risk of opioid abuse or addiction.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to add to what he says, because you see, those who are older are a little more experienced and more informed. And so they are a little more careful. They would either go to the hospital, make sure they get the prescription and use the right medication. But the younger ones, because of curiosity and experimentation, most often they are a little careless. And so they just know that, oh, this thing is a pain reliever, but they don't use it more on the pain side. They use it more for the euphoric side.
Yeah.
So when a sickle cell patient is using it for pain and realizes the euphoria is part of it, he is more on pain. But the ordinary, not sick child goes more for the euphoria.
Speaking of the older generation, would you say that their option is usually the alcohol and cigarettes? Because we tend to find a lot of our older generations, behind bottles of beer almost every weekend. Would that be their opioid addiction?
That is not opioid.
Okay.
That one is a substance addiction.
Okay.
And most of the drinking that we may call drinks that leads to addiction starts with, it's a social drink. They drink for social activities, for interaction, for community. And so that's, let's sit over a bottle of palm wine. Let's sit down over pito. So the normally brewed drinks from our local communities eventually become social gatherings. And so these social drinking activities start. And then unknown also to them, they move into the addiction stages. So the addiction stages can come for everybody when you don't understand how this whole addiction process starts.
Right.
So theirs is not opioid, but it is just the addiction process because they went into this substance or this drink.
Right. So, like you're saying, you said most of the youth, but let's break it down a little, because when we were just in, before we came on set, you mentioned that even there are certain groups of people that we the lay people may not even suspect could be susceptible to opioid addiction. So if you can touch on that for us.
Okay, so there are a lot of categories of people that you might not think. Now, most people who are, say, working class, educated people are now into this addiction. If it comes to the health side, people are addicted through health conditions. People with cancer, sickle cell, other chronic conditions, accidents, fractures, who have been on these medications, who will be addicted. Now, as Mommy was talking about, of late you see that most of the youth Fridays you
have to go and jump.
Tomorrow is holiday. So most people will engage in certain activities. Now we have almost infused everything. Everywhere you go, infuse something. Now, most people will even put opioids in certain drinks or anything just to try. Okay, a friend says, if you take this one, you feel good. And even some people take opioids to even have sexual intercourse. Because it's a pain medication, it will numb sensations. So some people also are on that route.
Okay.
So their category, or let's say, there is a large number of people who are getting into opioid addiction without knowing. Now we know of red. Now the red that we talk about is not only tramadol. It contains two medications.
Okay.
So it has a tranquilizer, which is the carisoprodol, and the tramadol.
Okay.
So the carisoprodol works like diazepam. It works like the diazepam that we know. So that diazepam will have that sedative effect on you as an individual. It's highly addictive. So imagine someone taking a medication that has tramadol in. Something like that. And most of them, they'll take it also for work. You ask them now, these Okada boys out there, they take these medications, it helps them to work very hard. They don't feel the stress. We have health practitioners who are addicted to opiates because of the stress from work. They want to take these things to calm their nerves. Then with time, they get into that addictive pattern or behavior.
All right. So from the medical standpoint, what is the progression into addiction? Where does it start?
So addiction is an interesting story. So it goes like 5 steps before it gets to addiction.
Okay.
And it won't happen by just one exposure or two. So sometimes you'll be in the hospital and you give someone medication. Oh, does it contain tramadol? Hey, me, I don't want tramadol. Please, for the purpose of these people, one exposure will not lead to addiction. It takes a number of months or some people years. So we have what we call the initial exposure. So when you get exposed to the medication for a time, assuming you are taking, let's say, a 50 milligram tramadol for a condition, as you take it for a period, you get to realize that now you take the 50 milligram, you are not getting that effect that you were having.
Yeah.
When you get to that point, know that you got into the level of tolerance.
Okay.
So now your body has tolerated the dose that you were taking. Now you need a higher dose of the same substance you were taking to get the effect that you were having. So if you were in pain and you were taking 50 milligram, you're getting better with time. The 50 milligram will not give you that effect. You have to up the dose.
Okay.
Now, as you are doing that, your body now undergoes what we term as dependence.
Okay.
So with the dependence, it comes in two forms. We have the physical dependence. That's when, if you do not get the medication, you undergo what is known as withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
In our Twi language, they say, take your chinipan.
Okay.
So with that one, if you are on the medication and you're not having it, the person will begin to sweat, the person is agitated, the person will be having palpitations. Some people, they will be scratching their body because they are not having it.
Yeah.
So they are now dependent on the medication. Then we have the psychological one.
Okay.
Now the person becomes anxious. Some people, they become depressed because they do not have that. And when the person gets to that stage, it's very dangerous because the person will do anything to get that thing to feel good. That's when people begin to go into devious behaviors like thefts. They can even pull a knife on you.
Yeah.
Armed robbery. They'll sell their stuff. So you've heard people say, oh, if you go to the ghettos, they say some people, they sell to the point they even sell their Ghana card.
Oh.
Yes, they will leave it
Just
there.
for some money.
Exactly. To get that substance because they are psychologically dependent on it. Some people get to a point, they won't be able to even function at work without it. You just know that something is off about this person. They lose concentration and a whole lot of stuff. When they get to that point, then you are moving to the addictive stance. Now, when it becomes so addicted, that's where the danger lies. Now, the person knows that if I take, let's say, 200 milligrams of tramadol, I'm going to have respiratory depression. My breathing is going to be at stake. The person knows, but the person cannot stop. So, in the presence of the harm that the medication or the product is going to give the individual, the person still takes it. At that point, you say that person is addicted.
Wow.
So that's the journey
Okay.
to addiction.
So, okay, we have a comment here. Let me read this quickly. So, Michael Adebisi, Pastor Bayo, he says, blessings. Yara greets Mrs. Apia for me. Okay, so I would like to ask from the, psychological standpoint that the trauma that people face, how exactly does it push them, from your experience with some of these people, how does it push them into addiction?
So you see, like Doc has explained, different traumas push us into different addictions. So you want to talk about the opioid one. It could be a health-related one, or it could just be peer pressure.
Okay.
Usually for the young adult, it's peer pressure. Because somebody may have had the exposure and has gotten the information that, oh, this thing numbs pain, but at the same time, it gives you this euphoria. So that's what he calls the initiation. So the first stage is initiation. You've been initiated into it.
Yeah.
So he attempts to take it once, and he's like, oh, I like the feeling. Now, to be able to maintain the feeling, he goes into what we call occasional use. So he used medical terminologies. Let me use just everyday language. Occasional use. Occasionally, he tries it, and the thing works for him. And so gradually, his body gets used to it, and he needs higher doses like we have been explained. So it is now no longer trauma, but he's now satisfying himself, because initially what pushed him was maybe a problem. He was having a headache. He fell, he broke his leg. A girl disappointed him. Any of those things actually could be a trauma that could push a person to start using these opioids or in other substances or gambling or any other thing in the addictive process. But now when he gets to the risky use, that's when you now realize that this thing is affecting me, but I still need to take it at any cost. And they don't care what it will cost them to be able to do it. Everybody's on and on about the red and how they are standing and they are asleep, because the medication is such that it puts you, it sedates you. So the person, yes, is gone into sedation mode and has forgotten that he's standing. There's no control. Now, the challenging part about addiction and the scary part is, you see, the will of the person is what is lost. So we feel, oh, he should be able to stop drinking. He should be able to stop the opioid use, but he can't. That ability to control, stop, is no longer existing. And so to be able to bring that person back, we need a whole process of detoxification for the person to get out the medication or the substance from their system. And then you are now going to the behavioral practice therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, before they now are restored. And so the same way it takes a long time to get addicted, it takes an equally long time to get restored.
Wow.
That's why some of us insist on preventive counseling, that be aware of these processes and dangers so that you don't even start.
All right. Okay, Doc, you mentioned that the opioids, they mainly work on our central nervous system and the brain, right? So maybe as somebody who thinks a lot, then you decide, I want to shut my brain off a little and get some rest. Is that kind of person also at the risk of developing opioid addictions?
Yes, most people in that circle, on that table, they are at risk. And most people will end up being addicted because of that. Okay, someone will say, okay, because I had a broken heart, the person was going through a psychological issue, an emotional trauma. Okay, I want something that will let me forget. Some people go into alcoholism. So we say when they are drunk, they forget, they are worried. Some people, when they take these opioids, because to sedate you, when you are sedated, your mind or your brain doesn't function as an active person. So they feel that, okay, when I take these things, I'm off. Some people don't sleep.
Yeah.
So they don't even think of what they are doing or what they are going through. So as you are doing that, you are gradually diving into the addictive patterns.
Okay.
So that's one of the easiest way people get into addiction. And I always tell people that whatever you are going through, find professionals to speak to.
Yeah.
Know who to go to for what.
Right.
Some people are going through some emotional or psychological, any pain that could have been resolved if they had spoken to a counselor, being a pastor or a professional counselor or a psychologist. But they, out of the fear of being judged or anything, they resort to that. Because at least if you are taking, let's say, if a person is taking an opiate for that, nobody hears what he or she is going through. He takes it, he's off. Initially, he's okay, but with time, you know that, look, I'm going deeper into these things.
Right. But you also mentioned that maybe if you take 50 milligrams today, tomorrow you need a higher dose.
Yeah.
So what about those people who are, so to say, smart, where they know that, okay, I've been on 50 milligrams for a while, let me go off it and then come back so that I don't need to keep increasing my dosage. I've reworked my body to handle it.
When I was talking about the pathway to the addiction and even the beginning, the present, I said that when you take these agents, they increase what is known as a dopamine.
Okay.
Some will increase your serotonin, other chemicals. When these things happen, these are the things that controls your will, your emotions, and anything. So it's not that, oh, today I am like this, I want to do this. So it's like you are having a handcuff on your hands, but you're not seeing.
So it means that when they start the 50 milligrams, there's no way they're even going to be able to
Reduce.
stop and say, oh,
So the person
after a
might
while,
know
okay.
that, okay, I want to stop. I want to come off it. That's when the person realizes that stopping is not easy as he or she thought. So there's a phrase that we always use. 1 is too much. 2 is never enough. So the best is don't start.
Don't start. So, Auntie Hannah, what are the most common reasons people you've come across have gone into opioid addiction? Is it heartbreak, unemployment, family dynamics, poverty? Which one seemingly has been the one that runs through?
Oh, for general one, there is usually the health one.
Okay.
There's also the depressive tendencies. When people get depressed, either from heartbreak, from economic reasons, from stress. And so when people are very stressed, they want to calm down.
Yeah.
So they take opioids as a calmant. Initially, that is how they start. So it could be anybody. It could be a worker, the work stress, job, marriage issues, even people in ministry. Some may end up in opioid addiction unconsciously because of the stress of their work. And so there are various reasons. But when it comes to the young people, it's usually for fun. It's usually for fun. It's usually for acceptance and belonging. I want to be part of the clique. In fact, they actually start it and they are like, they don't like it. But everybody is doing it. So they don't want to be the odd one out.
Right. So it's getting very, very interesting here. I'm learning a lot. So please do send your questions to our WhatsApp number displayed onto your screen. or to our YouTube or Facebook live stream, and then I will read them here. So I want to ask both of you, when we talk about opioid addiction, it seems it is steered towards one gender, which is the males. Are girls also at the risk of opioid addiction?
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
We have a perception that is the male. There were so many things that used to be more of the male in the past. But now there are a lot of females who are also going into
because
it.
there's that notion that, you know, young boys or boys our age, the youth, you are coming up, you have to start being a man, and that pressure tends to push them in there. But the ladies, we are told, oh, somebody will come and marry you and take care of you. So it's almost as though we don't hear much about girls being into opioid addictions in general. So if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yes, there are quite a number of young girls today who are going into it. You know, social media has made it such that information is so accessible. So they see what others are doing and they also want to go into it. Some also because they want to go into relationships. Some are into risky sexual behaviors. And well, if I'm going to be sleeping with 10, 20 men a night, and I'm going to be standing pain from different people, they go into these opioids to be able to have the numbing effect and the euphoria to carry on, because it's a business. And for others to innocently, their friends introduce them into it. So we still have a lot of young girls these days going into it.
So, Doc, as you are in the medical field, oncology and the rest, and have you come into contact with people dealing with opioid addictions, and how has it been?
A lot. A lot. So I know one person who got into opioid addiction because of his girlfriend. So his girlfriend actually introduced him to opioids. By the time he realized the guy is down the path.
But what about the girl?
The girl is already an addict.
So
she introduced the guy into it. And I know one lady who came from outside to meet the boyfriend here. The relatives thought the girl is outside the country, not knowing the girls in country. By the time they realized, they had a call from the ER that, look, your daughter is dead. And when they investigated, it was from opioid overdose. Because one thing that we have to know is that these opioids, they have an effect on your respiratory system. Because if you are abusing them, it brings down your respiratory system. So most people, if you said, oh, this person died out of an overdose, it's because the medication affected the respiration. So the person couldn't breathe them. It got so late. I've seen a couple of doctors, nurses, pharmacists who are addicted to these opioids. And sometimes you sit down and ask, these people should know better.
They should know better.
But nobody has control over these things. And I know people who also had chronic conditions, like sickle cell, who are now addicted to opioids. And it's not funny. Because it will disrupt your academics, your work,
your social life,
everything. As an individual. So it's something that it doesn't respect gender and it doesn't respect age. If you give yourself that chance, you are going to be hooked to it.
Okay, so we have a question here. It says, good morning, Koko Digest. Congratulations to you as well. Thank you. Kudos to Dr. Apam and Madam Abrahams up here. What alternatives to opioids are available for managing chronic pain? Because I mostly take Brufen when I am experiencing severe headaches. Kindly help me, Doc. This is Ikea Sampong in Adenta.
Okay, so to Ikea and anybody out there, not all pain medications are opioids. So Brufen that she's talking about is an NSAID. It's not an opioid. So opioids, if you're talking about opioids, you're talking about the tramadol, the morphine, and other medications. Not all pain medications are opioids. So Brufen is not an opioid. So it's not something that you can be addicted to, quote unquote. Now, there are medications that have come on the market, which are not opioids, but have opioid-like effect in terms of pain management. So now most of the surgeons, most clinicians are now driving towards that medication. And it's really, really doing wonders because it means we are moving much away from the opioids. It means less addiction and also less exposure of people to these side effects. So there's alternatives there to the opioids that also help in managing chronic pain. But if you're having chronic pain or anything, you should get investigated. You should be seen by a proper clinician so that the right medications will be given to you. Don't be like your friend who will say, oh, I took this one for my headache, so I think your waist pain, if you take this one, it will help. Most people are like that in our community. We are almost like that, so we have to discourage that.
Okay. But you said these drugs that have come, they have opioid-like effects. Are we not likely to get addicted to those drugs too?
The opioid-like effect I'm talking about, I mean, in terms of the pain management.
Okay, but
But
not the
their
dopamine.
mechanism of actions in terms of the opioid receptors and also the effect on your dopamine levels is not like the opioids. So it will give you that same effect at the end of the day of managing the pain. But you won't have the other effects that will make you addicted to those medications. Yeah.
So what makes peer pressure, such a powerful influence among the youth when it comes to these opioid addictions?
You see, the whole concept of peer pressure is so interesting. At the teenage and young adult age, you see, their psychosocial dependence is peers. And so that sense of, my friend did it, so let me try it, because they are looking for identity. They're trying to discover who they are, what they can do. And so they learn from strong voices. And the voices could be their parents, it could be their teachers, it could be the community. But the first voice that they most often defer to are peers. So if my friend is doing it and my friend says try it, because I want the friend to like me, see me as a hero, I go into it. So many people play on ignorance and play on experiments, and then they go into it. That's what makes the peer pressure very strong. So it's so important to make sure that the peers or the friends around these young ones are the right people. If you have the wrong friends, your son, no matter how strong he, or your daughter, no matter how strong she is or has been trained, can easily sway.
Okay. So what about influencers on social media or celebrities, as we like to call them? How do they also factor into peer pressure?
They factor into the equation in a big way, because you see, these young ones look up to them as role models. And so even on social media, that's why they say don't believe anything on social media. They may see on social media these people are operating at a very high level because of things they have said or things they are doing. But in reality, they may not be doing that. And these young ones go follow and attempt to do what these ones are doing. You watch it. If footballer is braiding, everybody wants to braid. If somebody cuts the hair, they all want to cut. If somebody wears a long wig, everybody wants a long wig. There's this copy system or following system from the influence. And social media has made information readily available, both right and wrong. So the young ones follow sometimes blindly because they don't have the education. So just like Doc is educating us and you are hosting and helping this information to go out, these educative sessions should be increased for these young ones to understand that these are the dangers, these are the consequences, these are the effects of these behaviors. And then the peers also should come up with other activities that may give them that same euphoria. You know, when you do well, reward system, you are happy.
But it's like the process to get to the doing well, all that learning and going to write the exam.
But there's no shortcut to having.
Exactly, there's no shortcut in life.
Yeah.
And doing well is not necessarily only exam. Everything, even today after the program, you know, when you finish the program, you're like, that's euphoria.
But they're waking up all the way to
get to that program.
So we would have just wanted, you know,
quick
snap of a finger.
Just one tablet, just 150 milligram. And that's why we are still telling you the consequences of shortcuts are more dangerous than going through process. the dopamine exists in our system.
Yeah.
We produce it normally when your father says, "Ah, well done." When a boy looks at you and is like, "Oh, she's pretty." I mean, when your husband says, "Oh, you are the best thing that happened to me."
Aww.
But when these people are not getting that from home, you know, the parents, "Oh, TB, oh, bon, papa." You are just increasing adrenaline and making sure that that child is dopamine deficient. And so he needs to get it. So the girl either gets it from her boyfriend, the boy either gets it from the opioids, or they get it from social media. And today, when we talk of addictions, it's not just opioids. I'm sure you are aware.
Yes.
The substance, the behavior, the porn. Oh my God.
Now there's gambling addiction.
Gambling, yeah.
That's also another.
That's a
Addiction.
crazy one.
So the gambling is usually the sports betting, right?
Not only that, everything in gambling.
But the common one, the one that's easily accessible is the is it Aviator and the Super Betting?
Yeah, okay.
Now it's on the phone, so
Yes.
betting is so easy. And it's not only a poor man's game. Right now, the rich people are betting, the poor people are betting, social classes are betting in the office.
Everybody is betting. You can see
Except some.
people on ward rounds betting.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Wow.
So how will he concentrate on the patient? Especially when he loses the bet and he has to go and administer medication to you out of anger. You can imagine what they would do.
Wow. It's very, very interesting here, but it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. If you have any questions, any concerns, you can send them to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screen and also to our YouTube or Facebook live stream. Then I will ask your questions for you. When the phone lines are opened, I will do my best to also alert you. Then you can call and ask your questions directly. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, we're having our main discussion understanding opioid addiction from the psychological, medical, and legal perspective. And I have with me Dr. Gregory Apigi Apam and Mrs. Hannah Abraham Zapia. So doctor is the doctor, and then Mrs. Hannah Abraham Zapia is the counselor. Then lawyer Mashood Mumin would also be joining us via technology. So yes, before the break, we were discussing this opioid addiction, but we have a question here before I ask the ones I wanted to. It says, hello, good morning everyone here. Congratulations to all crew members on their 1-year anniversary. Please, the question goes to Madam Hannah. What are the most effective counseling approaches for treating opioid addiction? Because I know of a 19-year-old boy going through opioid abusing here in Accra. This is Gerald Osei Inusu.
So first and foremost, once it has been diagnosed, he needs to get a special assessment. It's very important. We sometimes gloss over getting proper treatment, and then we attempt to do it. Because once he has become an addict, he needs to be taken through the process of removing that addictive substance. So you have to get the medication out of his system. If it is not done controlled, he'll go back. So how do you detoxification, that's the word I was trying to remember. How do you detoxify this person from that medication? And then how do you go through the counseling steps and stages for him to be able to do it? So I think he should look for a specialist, talk to them. There are many counselors he can reach out to, and then he'll be helped.
All right.
I think to also add on to what she said, people tend to, I know sometimes you over spiritualize a lot of things. I know someone who got addicted to
She's a
medications. Me too, I'm a Christian. But from the medical point, I think she will agree with me at a point. We over spiritualize everything. Someone is an addict. I would say you don't pray your way out of addiction alone. Prayer is good, but everything has its place. As you are praying for the person, as you rightly said, you need the medical assistance or care. Now, if you don't do it very well, now if someone is an addict, you pick them from the area they have the access to the product. You put them in an environment deficient of that. What's going to happen is that the person is going to undergo what is called withdrawal.
Yeah.
If the person undergoes withdrawal and the person by mistake or by chance gets in contact with that thing again, the person is going to abuse it more than how the person was even using it before.
Okay.
It gets worse. So that's why she was saying that you need a specialist, because apart from the detoxification, getting it out of your system, because if it gets out of your system, then you are going to experience the withdrawal. So you need your counselors, you need your psychologist, you have to get substituted therapies. That won't let you feel that you are off the product completely. So it's a gradual process. So when you get to the management bit, I think you will throw more light.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about how the detoxification works. Is it that you just decide not to take it, or you start drinking water to flush it out of your body?
Okay, so when it comes to the detoxification, we have medications that
So
we
more
use.
medications.
We have medications that we have to use to get these products out of your system.
Okay.
So we call it medical detoxification. So it's not like you are drinking more water to flush it out of it.
But so, not to cut you though, but as someone who probably doesn't want to face the world that they know that, but this person wants to go off it, and then they want to detoxify on their own, and they lock themselves up, starve themselves of it.
If you do that, you are going to be worse off. Because when you go into the withdrawal state, into bracket, you say take key. Now you'll be itching for that product that you are addicted to.
Okay.
Because that pattern has been drawn in your system already. So the very moment you are off the product, your body has to get a replacement to feel normal. So you seem like you are not functioning properly, like something is lost in you. You need to get it so bad that your life depends on it. And at that point, the person will get back to it knowing that it's not good. So the person will relapse back into the addictive
Because
process.
I think in our African societies here, where access to therapy may not necessarily be as common or easy as it is in the West, some parents may lock their addict ward up that
I think it's not
sweat it
the
out.
access.
Okay.
I think it comes with the societal perspective. Okay, oh, mommy, we in a banner say what you say, you know. People don't want that name to be associated to them. So they say very new cafe so it means that you choose the hard way. Then I'll hide you so that nobody will see you. At least maybe the person has a very good societal status.
Yeah.
So you don't want that thing to be related to him or her.
Okay.
So they will rather lock you. But that's a very bad way of handling it. Because it will get worse.
So with the medical detoxification, the other medications you are given will try to suppress that feeling of you not being okay. But then how do you identify somebody who is probably on the way to addiction?
Okay.
You can see it by their behavior.
Okay.
You would find out that one, he acts in a particular way which was not his normal. He hides to do certain things because they always start on being on the lookout. They don't want you to see what they are doing. Obvious ones, if it was alcohol or gambling, you can see. If it's gambling, you start noticing things get lost around the house. Money, money is hard to come by, especially in his case, anybody's money is lost. If it's alcohol, if it's drugs, they are buying. And if you are vigilant, like those who do the opioids, you will start noticing, this guy either goes to the pharmacy or sends people to the pharmacy or makes friends with people who can give them access. And so parents who have children in those things should be a little more vigilant for their young people. Talk to them, talk to their friends, know who they walk to. Their behavior gives them away. If it is just the opioids. And then at a certain point, when they now don't have access, like he said, the withdrawal symptoms start giving them away. They start behaving in ways that let you know that something is off. So you can see it and you can tell from behavioral practices.
Right.
Okay, from the medical point, we have a criteria we use called the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Method for diagnosis. It's called the DSM-5. So in a space of 12 months, we have certain parameters. They are about 11, subdivided into 4. So we have the impaired control, we have the social problems, we have the risky use, and the physical effect.
Okay.
So if the person has at least 2 of these, you know that this person is on that route. So when it comes to the impaired control, you see that the person is taking more opioids than the person is supposed to be taking. So maybe the person had a prescription for a particular medication, but the person has started taking more than he or she is supposed to take. It's a red flag.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to spending a lot of time in getting the opioids, so the person can move from one pharmacy to another pharmacy just to get the opioids. Whether rain or shine, you know that no, something is off from this individual.
Maybe it's just determined.
It's because of what is happening in the system. Then also, someone will say, okay, I have stopped the opioids. But you see that there is an unsuccessful effort to quit. So the person has that drive, but the person is not able. Then when it comes to the social problems or the social factors, you see that the person is missing work, the person is not active, the person is not being able to carry out tasks as the person is supposed to do. You know that that person is having a problem. And also, you said that the person had a particular pattern, as you said. All of a sudden, the person had withdrawn from everything he or she was doing. You know, this is not your normal pattern. What's going on? Then we have the risky use. The person might be driving. The person will use opioids. Yes. So it's risky.
Very.
So while driving, the person is injecting something. Whilst on the motorbike, whilst the person is engaged in activity, going to play football, the person does these things. You see that no, this one is off the normal. Then also the person is doing it knowing that anytime I do this, I get respiratory depression. I'm rushed to the hospital, but still the person does it. So in the face of the harm that this product or these agents will cause, the person is still doing it. Yeah. You know that no, because the person knows that it's not good. Why will you do something which will end you up in the hospital? Come back and still do it again. Then it means there's something wrong there.
Yeah.
Then we have the physical effect, the tolerance, as I was talking about, and also the withdrawal symptoms when the person tries to stop. So mostly you see someone asking for an opioid, the person is sweating under air condition. You just know that no. And they'll give you a very nice story.
Pressure from above.
Sometimes they'll give a very nice story.
Yeah.
You know, I have an auntie who has had an accident and they say I should buy this product. Yeah. And the most dangerous thing is that if it's a person is a health practitioner, the person gets access to a prescription form, the person can fill it out, forge a signature, and present it as a valid prescription. Yeah. If you're not careful, you are going to dispense it. Then we have other tests, like the urine test. So mostly you do the urine test to know the agents that the person is exposed to. So mostly maybe they are brought in, which they have to run that urine test to know the panel, which agent this person has been exposed to, and other criteria, other tests that you have to do. So it's not one thing that we use, but we have several criteria. But like what I said, the DSM-5, if you use that, possibly you will just know. You know the pattern and the behavior.
Okay. How long does the medical detoxification take? Or it depends on your physiology?
So it's individualized.
Okay.
So medicine is always individualized, but you have to give the person some time. Some people will go like 3 months. Some people will be 1 month, depending on the severity and the exposure, the number of years the person has been exposed to that particular agent.
Okay.
So all those will come into play before you go into the detoxification. And that's even the first stage. Then you have to come to the substituted reversals and all those things that you have to do in conjunction with the psychotherapy, the counseling,
the support system.
The support, that's very important.
The support system.
So it's a whole package. You can't choose and pick what you want to do.
Okay. Okay, so we have a video, or is it an audio, from our lawyer, Mashood Moomin, on the opioids, I think from the legal standpoint. And so when we listen to that, then we come back for the counseling, you know, some of the measures we can put in place to support people who are addicted. So let's get the video on.
When we look at the issues of opium and drugs in Ghana, it is treated seriously under the laws of Ghana. This is because it has social, health, and security implications in Ghana. Now, if you look at these drugs, there are various laws that regulate them in Ghana. We cannot just say one specific law. One of those laws, we have the Narcotic Controls Commission law, we have the Criminal and Other Offences Act, we also have the Mental Health Act. Now, we can to some extent bring the usage of these drugs under these laws. Is that okay? Okay. And your question is, you want to find out the legal effects of the use of these drugs. Now, if we look at the legal effects of the use of these drugs or the consequences, you look at it from I made mention of the social, we look at the security implication and what have you. Is that okay? And when we come to under the Criminal and Offences Act, the law looks at it as it makes it a crime, or it falls upon, one, the possession of it, two, the usage of it, three, the cultivation of it, four, the production, the one who produces it, five, we look at the importation, any person who imports it, six, we look at the export of it, and we also look at the traffic of narcotic drugs. All these things can be captured under the legal aspect of it. All this, the law frowns upon all this aspect of it. Yes. Can opium addiction be used as a defense in a court case? Now, what we have to understand is that under the Criminal and Other Offences Act, you self-induced intoxication is not a defense. So if someone self-induce themselves with any drugs, whether opium or any other substance, and then as a result you commit an offense, you cannot use that as an offense. Is that okay? It only become as a defense, sorry. It can only become a defense when it is caused by the negligent act of a third party. I don't know if you get it. So generally, a self-induced intoxication is not a defense, but it becomes a defense where it is caused by the negligent act of a third party. Is that okay? In that regard, then we can say you can use it as a defense. However, it can be used as a method of mitigation. Yes, to say that, well, I did so, however, I wasn't in my right frame of mind. But not because it's a defense for you, it's just for mitigation. You can also use it to say, oh, look, I didn't have the mental element to do that. It was just something that I was in my right state of mind, and that indeed happened. Is that okay? So the keynote we have to understand to anybody listening to this is that, one, self-induced intoxication cannot be used as a defense. What do you mean by self-induced intoxication? Whether you go and take liquor, whether you take drugs, whether you take anything that can cause intoxication on you. If you administer it to yourself, you cannot use it in any court of law as a defense. But it may be used as a mitigation factor. It can become a defense if you say that it was caused by the keynote, the negligent act of a third party. It's not like you ask the third party, oh, Charlie, make you smuggle this thing in my drink. No. In short, stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble, because some of these things, you may be a good person, you may just want to have fun, you may just want to be in the seven heavens, but you'll be held accountable for anything that you may do when you are intoxicated. So just stay out of trouble. Always ensure that you have a clear mind to deal with persons, rather than ending up at where you don't want to be because you just wanted to have fun.
Right, so that was lawyer Mumin Mashood educating us extensively on the effects and some of the mental health acts and even the Criminal Offences Act in relation to the opioids that we have here in the country. And the key thing to note is that self-induced intoxication is not a defense. So if you are caught and you're being prosecuted and you go and say, oh, I was on an opioid, that's why I killed the guy, you are still going to jail. And of course, if it is also caused by the negligent act of a third party, so maybe like in the hospitals, maybe you were given an overdose, and if it can be proven, then maybe there's hope for you. But yes, again, stay out of trouble. Thank you so much, Lawyer Mumin. Thank you so much. So I hope we've learned a lot. And if you have learned a lot and you have questions, please do send them to our WhatsApp number on your screens or to our YouTube and Facebook live streams.
I think to add to what Lawyer said, there is an act known as the Pharmacy Act.
Okay.
The Act 489. So it talks about the storage, the handling of opiates. So that one, it talks about how pharmacists are supposed to handle opioids. And opioids are classified under controlled medications. And under controlled medications, it means you have to have a very good record keeping. So assuming someone comes to get, let's say, a vial of morphine, you have to have a system that you record that I have 20 in stock, I've dispensed one, I'm having 19. 19 tallies with what I have. You have the prescription that supports what you dispensed. So these are some of the legal frameworks that surrounds the handling of opioids by pharmacies.
Okay.
So if you go outside this to do anything, that's a crime, and you'll be taken on. So I think the enforcement of the acts and the laws is something that we need in this country. Yeah, but I know in my facility, that's what we do. In every health facility, there's a strict monitoring when it comes to opioids because people know what it will happen. But you know, there will be miscreants here and there to get the thing into the system. So as lawyer said, stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble. So I wanted to ask about drug-seeking behavior, but I think you touched on it a little where you said sometimes they even tell all kinds of stories to, but aside them telling stories to get the drugs, are there any other ways people behave to show that it's drug-seeking?
So most of them is the withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
So look at the person will be sweating. The person is anxious. The person is agitated. So as you are listening to the person, you have to be paying attention to the non-verbal cues. And most often that it will just give the person off. Some people look at their lips and they're having dry mouth, their fingers. So we have all these things that you use just to know that, yeah, this person is an addict. And most of them, if you check, those who are using the injectables, when you check their arm, sometimes because of the repeated use of syringes, you see the needle pricks on their arm. So most of them will come dressed in long sleeves. Yes.
Right.
So these are some of the drug-seeking route or patterns or behaviors, and also the exhibition that you are going to see.
Okay.
But the story, that one, they'll give you a very nice story. Especially if they know that they can't get it from you, because they have people that they deal with. As Mommy said, there are people who can supply to them.
Plugs. Okay.
Yes. But apart from that, if they are coming to, let's say, a pharmacy, you know that, okay, you need a prescription. So how do I get this medication without a prescription? I have to get a touching story to make my issue so bizarre. And if it's a medical practitioner, it becomes more worse because the person prescribes the medication.
You can just write.
Sadly, the person will just write stamp, count for it. So as a pharmacist, if you don't probe further, you will be dispensing thinking you are doing your work. But you'll be putting a lot of, you'll be aiding and abetting to it without even knowing.
Wow. Okay. So wrapping up, Auntie Hannah, can you briefly just give us ways we can support people in our communities who are addicted to these things, or even in our families, especially, yes, the families and friends?
Okay, so first and foremost, we shouldn't hide these things. What happens is many people, like he said, we either put a spiritual causality to it and says that, oh, the faithful and so we just want to label it as somebody did that, yet it's the person's willful behavior and the person doesn't want to change. So in helping people in any form of addiction, even the family is supposed to be part of the education to know what to do, how to help them. Encourage them to get therapy. Encourage them to go to professionals, because self-medication in any form or self-therapy can be destructive when you don't have the know-how. But when they go to the right places, whether the clinical assessment, whether it's a therapist, a professional therapist, they are properly assessed and then they are helped to get out of the symptoms or whatever is causing the opioid addiction. Then when they have been detoxified, then they are helped to reintegrate and get a normal life. So what we should do is, one, we should also be informed that these are the issues, these are the symptoms, and then, you know, like the way they create the AA systems, if it's Alcohol Anonymous, we have these support groups where they meet, where they can have therapy sessions, they talk, our progress, we share, and then we encourage each other to come out of what we all have done. Many people out there watching us, maybe on one drug or the other, but like we were saying earlier, they are just NSAIDs. Oh, it's either paracetamol or it is just something else. But some now move into these opioids unknowingly, either for pain, for depression, and they can't come out of it. And because of shame, because of refusal to be labeled, they now hide, attempt to do it themselves. They end up in their withdrawal symptoms, and it gets worse and it gets worse. But get help. There are too many counselors out there who can help you, and medical professionals.
All right. Thank you so much. All too soon, our time is up, and it's been very, very interesting here. It's been very educative here too, and I'm sure you also learned a thing or two. So do your best to provide your help and support for anybody in your community or around you as well. And of course, thank you so much for supporting us throughout the year, 1 year of Koko Digest Morning Show. We say we are most grateful, and we are grateful to ourselves here for everything we've done. And to get a thing well done and the satisfaction of this thing well done, we've done it, we've done our best. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, bright and early. Do have an amazing holiday and weekend ahead.